In this lecture, we're going to cover the dynamic zoom effect. And the dynamic zoom effects icon is between the camera and composite here. It's these two little rectangles with an arrow striking through them. Now, dynamic zoom is also known as the Ken Burns zoom effect. What it does is it applies a steady zoom and pan to our footage over the course of the entire edit, and we can't get it to behave any other way. If we want to have manual control over a pan and scan, we need to go into the edit panel and change keyframes manually using the inspector. We don't have any real manual keyframe control in the cut panel. So the way this works is that the footage starts being framed by the green box that we can see here. So everything in the green box is what we will be able to see at the start of this edit. And then it will end at the red box, which is what we can see on the edge. And then at the end of this edit, we will be able to see everything within the red box. Now, this isn't going to work unless A, I have this orange check here active so that the pan and scan, the dynamic zoom is active, and B, I have to hit spacebar to play this, because if I just scrub through with the pan and scan window on, I'm not going to see it. So I do have to hit spacebar, and here you can see we start zoomed in, and over the course of the edit, we zoom out slowly. So we start being framed by the green box and end being framed by the red box. Now I can move this green box around, and I can also move this red box around, and then when I play it back, you'll see the effect that has also. It doesn't have a great many uses in drama. It is primarily for things like documentary cutaways, interview, things where you can actually sell a kind of slow pan and zoom. But let's just take a look at some of the controls here so we know how it works. We can click and drag on a window, just within the window to move it around, on a corner to scale it up or down. When the two boxes overlap, it does give priority to the red box, which is kind of frustrating. So what you can do is click a corner of the green box and then click on the highlighted green line itself and then drag that around. That's an easier way to reliably move the green window. And then I can just move my red box around until I'm happy. What I can do is I can use these buttons down here to change the level of zoom, to hit a pan. So the first one is the zoom preset, that starts in close and pulls out. The second one is the pan preset, that starts at the right and moves left. So it will kind of crop in and then pan over to the left. And the final one is the angle preset. And what that's going to do is basically crop in and move up and down and to the left. And these are all aimed at, when you're cutting documentary and you have a B-roll cutaway to either a still or something which is a bit more abstract, something which will accept this kind of artificial camera movement. We don't get any real use out of it in drama projects, is the truth. The next icon we have are these two arrows, and this is the swap icon. This will switch our green and red boxes around. So now we start wide and zoom in over the course of the shot. And we could achieve the same effect just by dragging and stretching out our boxes and squeezing them down anyway. We could do that manually, but this is the easiest way to do that. And the next four icons are pretty much how the animation plays out. The default is linear, so the speed of the zoom and the pan is going to be the same at all times. We then have the kind of ease in, ease out options here. So ease in is basically going to start slow and then speed up. So if I put that down here, what I want to do, I'll switch this back, and I want to make quite a big level of zoom here so we see the effect. Ease out will start moving slowly and then speed up and up and up until it reaches the end of the animation. So we start moving slowly, and now... Okay. So here we start moving slowly, and then it starts going much faster. It does have a tendency to play around with the icons down here. I'm not sure why this one became active just then, but I want ease in, so just make sure you have the correct one active. The next one is an S-curve. This will make our animation start moving slowly. It will then speed up in the middle, and it will then slow down towards the end. So let's take a look. So here it's moving slowly, now it's sped right up, and now towards the end it's easing out again and going more slowly. So we can make more organic and appealing levels of zoom with this tool. The final one is called ease out, and that's the opposite of ease in. It will start moving quickly and slow down towards the end. And we can see it beginning to ease out there and go a bit more slowly. So if you're cutting vlogs and you're cutting first rough of documentary, this is actually a fairly useful tool. It does help just add a little bit of extra interest to B-roll and cutaways. But like I said, in drama, it's not particularly useful. So we're going to take a look at audio in the next lecture, and then after that we're going to take a look at transitions, and then we can finally begin the edit of this project. So click on through to the next lecture,